Still here fighting for the world. And we'll continue to do that because it's on our hearts. It's in us. That's what we do. We don't allow no one to trample on us, and we won't allow it on anybody else, not on our watch. But we won't allow anybody to just take advantage of the things that we put in place, not just for ourselves, but for others to be able to be successful on. So when those who don't understand us or have an idea of our approach to why we speak against certain ideologies or certain positions of thought when it comes to other groups, at the end of the day, Black Americans, we don't really care. Like, we've been through so much that our argument is to not always get up and fight for everybody else, and then when it's our time to go, there's nobody around. It's crickets, yo. It's like, where everybody at? Like, we was out here deep when it comes to other cultures, but shit, y'all want us to get in line and vote for immigration policies and do all of this other stuff, but y'all not here. Y'all not hearing us, but you want us to be there. You know, and we have, again, certain things that I picked up on in that conversation as well. Like, one of the young ladies mentioned, brought here by force. What else? Poverty and oppression. Certain things. And I'm like, wow, like, I don't understand. Like, we all, I'm sure, got a few pocket of friends that, who are immigrants or maybe, second, first generation, third, however it goes. But in these pockets, again, we are aware of each other's cultural differences. One thing about Black Americans is we don't get too offended in relation to how you perceive us. Like, we gonna get it and we gonna win anyway. Like, we gonna kick down the door and we gonna create it. We gonna make it work, like, by any means necessary. It's shown from what you see around you. Think about it this way. The success at hand can only be a success if you take control of where the success comes from. So when you think about the whole transatlantic slave trade and what the success comes from, you have to take handle or control of it. That is the system. That is the systemic nature of this machine that we're confined to or we're currently oppressed under. And so when you're having to be part of the system to allow the machine to work, it's always a certain group of people that tend to get folded into the mix. And this is a historical thing that has occurred. And we've always had the energy to fight back in our own way. This is a spirit battle. A lot of times, people, you can get your guns and get the da-da-da. Yeah, that'll work, for a specific amount of time, but we're more mind-driven. We have a fire and an energy. We are strong like lions, but we are more defense-driven. It's not our powers and our energy and who we are as Black people. We don't just carry forward any type of aggression towards other people just because it's something that we can do. And one of the questions I'm sure you will ask is, well, why y'all do it in your own community? Come on, man. When you confine to a system and you confine to a government for 400 years, then maybe you will develop something that is called like post-traumatic stress, something that actually has an effect on the Black and the Black woman and man for a long period of time. And that energy is fed into our children. And over time, you feel confined to your own section, and it creates a virus, and that virus starts to build up. Before you know it, you clashing and you exploding on each other. Like, come on, we gotta start thinking common sense. It's not an opportunity to say, I got you. Like, yeah, what y'all doing here? What are y'all doing there? I'm telling you, we have a viable argument. Like, come on, man. It's there. We have a viable argument in relation to anything that anybody has to say that counteracts what we're talking about. We positions ourselves to create some form of self-therapy. Rather, it's been through retaining information that our mothers have shared with us, or our fathers may have shared, or our way to survive to where we could thrive and live and still create opportunities. Like, we not only just knew that it couldn't happen under the scope of how the white people were treating us, we created our own schools. We positioned ourselves to become our own doctors in our own communities, in our own banks, and doing our own thing, and carpenters and so on and so forth. You think we messed that up? You gotta check your history books. We had nothing to do with messing any of that up. It actually came from, again, the people who oppressed us. They came and bombed our shit up. They came and got jealous because the black man was able to create the environment to support not only himself, but his family, which is the divine essence of our community. So we have to really break this down from a historical fashion so we can understand why the hell we got here and why some of these stereotypes and assumptions about our people is just flat out lie. There's no xenophobic energy anywhere. I don't even like the word, it's corny, but I'll use it in context only because a lot of people use it as a defense mechanism, and it's silly. And so it's very important for us to understand a lot of us is not going to do it anyway. We're not going to read. We're not going to show ourselves approved through the study and knowledge of ourselves. We just not. And so it's like speaking into an echoed wall, an echo chamber, and it becomes very frustrating. But in the midst of that, this conversation is about what it is to understand a specific group of people that are separate from those that keep trying to penetrate it as if we are all together. There's no kumbaya here. This is no different from our mentality when we come over to Ghana and we visit some of our beautiful people there, or we go over into Nigeria. We're not over there kicking in doors and telling everybody, hey, this is who we are, this is what we're going to do. That's not happening. So I'd be damned if it happened over here in the soil that my people, my ancestors built. Like, y'all got to be lying to yourselves. Like, for real? Like, seriously. We've had a lot of people that I know that's been through college, myself included, and we've seen it. We're not in the same settings. We don't experience the same things, and that's okay. We have room to be able to educate each other on how great our cultures are. We're going to have even digs at each other, but we have to learn each other's culture, because there's a lot of differences in how we communicate and also present ourselves. I have a good friend of mine, and she's Kenyan, and she would often say, oh, you're a little aggressive. However, the way we speak, especially Black American men, we have a tone like a lion. It's very carry forward. It's a very strong, deep essence. It comes from passion. And so when we speak, it gives off a very strong energy, and people sometimes feel very uncomfortable. And then you have those who may carry it forward and say, oh, well, I was threatened. Black women, especially my beautiful Black American women, they have even stronger carry forward approach in how they use their voice and their tone. The same reaction. And so those characteristics in relation to our culture and how we communicate, and our understanding of our own language and how we speak. Again, if you are of any other descent and you know that you do not have proper English skills and you're trying to debate somebody who does, you've already lost the debate. And the reason why is because there's a lot of terminology that is being used and shared that is creating more confusion than is actually helping. One of those is how I recognize people who are feelers and who are thinkers. You'll hear it in how they speak when they say, hey, well, I feel this, or someone will say, hey, I think this. And you can pick up on exactly the perspective that they will carry forward in what they're sharing. And so in saying that, you have those who may interpret on the basis of what they feel the word means to them versus actually what the word actually means. And so you get lost in translation because one person may be arguing one thing while the other person is arguing the other thing. There's no common ground. There is no room for understanding. And so it's very difficult to be able to communicate at a level of understanding when two people are not on the same page. And there's no fault of anyone. It's just, how do we practice better awareness? How do we position ourselves to be better fit to be able to receive the information that someone else is trying to share with us? And my answer to that is, again, self-awareness, self-alignment, self-understanding, self-noting, self-response, self-idea, self-realize. And over time, it will start to make sense because you will make manifest exactly what you see in how you respond right in front of you. And that's the person that you're with. That is the most important thing. I, including a lot of many other people, have to learn that. I cannot find a common ground with anybody without actually taking the time to listen versus listening only to respond. It gets us nowhere. But I'm a little curious though, because like just to my diasporan brothers and sisters, it's like, why y'all so upset? Like, I don't get it. Like, yeah, I get we clowning each other on certain things, and y'all, why don't you fix your own thing, or why don't y'all get a job? And you're like, yeah, we taking digs at each other. I get it. You know what I mean? In the heat of the moment, everybody's in their feelings, or emotional, so we taking little digs. But why be upset? What is making you so upset? Because we're not upset. What we're speaking on is true issues that we have to face on a daily basis, being representatives of this country. We always fight to position ourselves due in part to the system that we're under. And our issue is don't come and shuck and jive policies in front of us that disallows us to be able to benefit from it. We're not benefiting from the shuck and jive and the pop locking on the street with a bunch of people that just ain't, it's just, we ain't popping. Like, come on, man. So we have to reassess exactly how we position ourselves. And we call and foul. And if you're not able to come and assist us in a productive fashion to where you are in support of what we're speaking to and against, then you're in the way. You're just dead air. You are part of exactly what we're trying to exclude from the identity that we're positioning ourselves to become. It's not a time to be laughed at and, oh, y'all, hey, you say what you want, but you here, though. That's my thing. You're here. You're not somewhere else saying you're here. And while you're here, we think that it's very important for you to learn to respect what it is that our ancestors built this land on, what it is that I pay taxes and do other shit for and build my family and do other things. Like, there is a level of respect that you give that. And when I look forward to going to the native land, that's something that I plan to do myself. Give the honor and respect to the ancestors that was there. So we have to learn communication. It's not even a have to. I'm sick of that word, have to. Learn communication, yo. Learn how to bridge that gap in understanding each other. And if you can't, just get the hell out of the way. We're not here for all of the, well, why y'all can't this and why y'all can't that? No, we doing it. We doing it. Like, again, this is just only a subset of us who may have gotten so far gone in the identity politics of what a black person is and akara or whatever else people try to call us. Like, yo, we've been called many names, but we here though. And we're the most influential and the most recognized people around the world. And it's not even something that we actually was chasing.